The Bill in the Marsh. The people of Hollow Vale spoke of many strange things: the moving swing, the old man beneath the oak tree, the lantern that wandered through the woods. But there was one story older than all of them: the bill in the marsh. On certain nights, when the fog rolled thick across the water, a bill could be heard, ringing somewhere in the distance. Slow, deep, lonely. No one knew where it came from. No one had ever found it. And those who tried always returned empty handed. Most people ignored it, but Thomas could not. No one in Hollowville remembered his best friend Clara, the librarian who had once worked among the dusty shelves was gone from every photograph, every record, and every memory.
Everyone forgot. Everyone except Thomas.
He remembered her laughter. He remembered the books she recommended. He remembered the day she vanished. And no matter how hard the town seemed to forget, Thomas could not. He visited the library she once worked in. He questioned travelers passing through town. He even searched the forests beyond Hollowvale, but he found nothing, only silence. Then one night, as he sat alone in his home, he heard it: a distant bell. The sound drifted through the fog outside the window. Dong, dong, dong. Thomas froze. The bell rang again, somewhere beyond the marsh. He grabbed a lantern and stepped into the night. The fog was thicker than he had ever seen. It swallowed the roads behind him within minutes. Still, the bell continued, always ahead, always just out of reach. Thomas followed, across muddy paths, past dead trees, through the water that reflected no stars. Hours seemed to pass, yet the bell never grew closer. Then suddenly, it stopped. The silence was overwhelming. Thomas lifted his lantern and realized he was no longer standing in the marsh. Before him stood the gates of Hollowville. He stared in confusion. That was impossible. The town was miles away. He slowly stepped forward. Everything looked familiar: the streets, the houses, the square, even the dead oak tree. Yet something felt wrong. The town was too quiet, too still. Thomas hurriedly walked towards the bakery. The baker stood behind the counter arranging loaves of bread. Relieved, Thomas called out. The baker did not respond. Thomas called again. Nothing. It was as if he couldn't hear him. A chill ran through his body. Outside, people walked through the streets. They passed by him without a glance, without a word, as though he wasn't there at all. Then Thomas saw someone approaching from the far end of the square, and his heart stopped. It was him, another Thomas. The man wore the same coat, the same boots, even the same old watch. He walked calmly through the town, greeting neighbors with a smile. People waved back. They knew him. They spoke his name. The other Thomas stopped outside the bakery, laughing with the baker as though nothing was wrong, as though he had always belonged there. Thomas stumbled backwards. This wasn't his town. It only looked like it. Panic filled his chest. He ran through the streets, reaching for someone, anyone. Then he reached the library. A single lamp glowed inside. Thomas rushed in, and there, among the shelves, sat Clara, his breath caught in his throat. She was alive. He pounded the glass. He shouted her name, but Clara never looked up. It was as if she couldn't hear him, or perhaps it wasn't really Clara at all. Then a familiar sound echoed across the town. Dong, dong, dong. The bell. Thomas turned. The sound came from beyond the marsh, far away in the fog. As he listened, he noticed movements among the mist. Figures, dozens of them, standing silently at the edge of the town, watching, waiting. Some looked frightened, others looked lost, and all of them seemed trapped, just like him. The bell rang once more. The figures slowly began walking towards it, one by one, disappearing into the fog. Thomas looked back at the town, at the other Thomas living his life, at the library where Clara sat beneath the lamp. Then he turned towards the sound of the bell and followed the others into the mist. The people of Hollow Vale still hear the bell on foggy nights. Slow, deep, lonely. Most ignore it, but sometimes, if you listen carefully, you can hear footsteps following the sound. And among them, a man named Thomas, still searching for a way home.